Welcome back to the Coding Fanatic YouTube channel. I'm your host, Richard, and here at Coding Fanatic, I teach new developers and developers who are interested in Android development how to grow efficiently, whether it's by working on your projects continually, learning new skills, or learning better ways to work with other people and work on teams. These are the things that I focus on, and I apply them to my life and teach you how to do the same for your career as well. If that sounds like content that you are interested in, then hit subscribe and turn on notifications. See when I upload videos like this each week. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I am in the process of learning Kotlin for optimizing my Android development skills. It is a newer and fresher language than Java, and Google has chosen it as their preferred language of choice for Android development. So right now I'm embarking on the incredible journey of learning Kotlin so that I can better build apps in a more efficient manner moving forward. Like I said, everything we do here is about efficiency. Kotlin's efficient. I'm efficient. Let's get efficient. Let's do it the best way possible. Now that you're caught up, let's get into the latest notes that I've covered. So we have this week I covered repeat statements. Now, a repeat statement, if you've done a little bit of coding before, it's similar to a loop, but to explain it as plain as possible, a repeat statement lets you execute a set block of code any number of times that you would like, a specified number of times. It explicitly tells the Kotlin interpreter how many times you want to repeat whatever it is that you have to repeat. That's the short end of it. It's a repeat statement. It repeats some block of code over and over. Now, it's similar to loops because loops do something similar where they continue and do something a set number of times, but loops can go on infinitely. There are different types of loops. You can use them and play around with them in different ways to make your code or make your application do something in a distinct manner. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to input validation is one such instance. You're asking people to enter their name and their birthday, and they enter their name as 12/22/2020, and they enter their name as Richard Clark. Or excuse me, they enter their name as 12/20/20, and they enter their birthday as Richard Clark. You could use a loop that basically says that while this person does not input the right values, numbers, if they don't put numbers for the date and their name or text for their name, that this app will continue to say, hey, please enter this in the right format. You've seen this on your bank's website. You've seen it on online forums where you accidentally mistype something and it tells you, oh, that's not a valid character or something like that. This is how loops are used. Repeat statements are similar, except they are closer to a specific type of loop that lets you only do something a set number of times. Now, as far as I know thus far, I'm not sure if there is a way to do an infinite loop like the aforementioned one for input validation using a repeat statement. I'm not sure if that's really something you can do as of yet. Maybe you can, or maybe Kotlin has a specific way to do it. But what I do know, and what I can tell you, is that a repeat statement takes a block of code, repeats it a set number of times. But you don't have to take my word for it. Let's look at an example. Okay, here in the Kotlin playground, we have a function called print border, and it prints a border around our message, which is a series of equal signs being used as a border. We're going to, as you can see here, it prints 23 equal signs. We're going to update this function using a repeat statement. Now, the way this works is the same as a loop. You set the number of repetitions as your argument. In this case, we'll use the number 23. And what we want to repeat is the printing of equal sign. So in the repeat statement, we're going to print that equal sign 23 times. All right. And when we compile everything, we should have the exact same result. Yep. But what if we want to take this a step further? What we can do is create a variable, assign that variable the value 23, and pass that as our argument into this repeat statement.
So we'll use, actually, let's change this to reps. Okay, because repeat is a keyword. So here we have reps equal to 23. We pass it, and it prints the equal sign 23 times.
Our next topic is passing arguments. Now, arguments are pieces of information that you can use to manipulate your application in a certain way. Let's say you wanted to play the happy birthday song 10 times. You ask the user to enter the number of times, or enter a number. They enter 10, and then you can take that and pass it as an argument to a function that will then do whatever work needs to be done to repeat that happy birthday song. So it's for people who are a bit more advanced, it's similar to Java and other languages I worked with before. It's almost exactly the same. The only difference between this and Java is the function header itself. Now, a function header is just the name for the top part of a function, where you define the types of parameters that it can accept. Now, or in this case, the argument that you passed in. This is where you define the types of arguments that it can accept, which are known as parameter. Now, the difference between this and in Java and other languages I've worked with is just the notation for what types of parameters the function will accept. Each parameter that the function accepts is denoted by the name that you're assigning the parameter, colon, data type. So let's say you wanted to accept integers or strings. You would have something like, for strings, you could say s:\string and then comma, and the next one would be like, you say like i:\int, and this denotes that your function will accept parameters of first being type string, second being type int. So when you're invoking this function in wherever you're invoking it from, you have to pass those arguments in that order and make sure that they are the matching. Well, first make sure they're the matching data type that's required, and second, pass them in that order. So if you have something that says, you wanted to repeat a name or something a set number of times, again, like the happy birthday song, or you wanted to print out a name 10 times, and you had a function called repeat name, and you wanted to invoke that function, you could set the parameters for something like name, colon, and then string, and number, colon, int. And when you invoke it, you would invoke that function, and it would first be the first thing you'd have is the name, then the integer, or whichever order. Make sure it matches the same order as the function. So it's not that different from other programming languages. It's just the notation of the name of the parameter, colon, the data type, and each parameter is separated by commas in that fashion. Now, it's worth mentioning that when you assign a value to a variable, you only need the keyword val, and you can assign it any value. If you want to know more about that, you can watch my last video I did on variables in Kotlin. But moving forward, when you assign these values, you only need the val keyword and then the name of the variable, and then you assign it, a number, a string, what have you. But when you're setting up a function header, this is the only time thus far where you have to explicitly name a data type. So if you wanted to create a string variable name and it stores a name, you could just say name equals Richard in quotes. But if you have a function that accepts a string as a parameter, you have to say name, colon, and then string, which tells the Kotlin interpreter that this function will accept an argument or parameter of type string. So I thought that was interesting. I hadn't thought of, when I went into this, I wasn't thinking ahead on how functions would work. I thought it would be a while before I got to working with functions, but now that I'm here and I'm seeing it, I'm just like, this Kotlin is interesting. I really, I don't really know what I expected because like I said, I didn't really think about it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. Last but not least, I have some very exciting news. The Kotlin playground has finally been updated to Kotlin 1.4.2. They finally did it. Hey! Now, if you saw my last Kotlin video from 2 weeks ago, they were at version 1.4.1, and I pointed out that even though Kotlin is the current most up-to-date version is 1.4.2, the playground is still at 1.4.1. But like I said, it really shouldn't have any impact on what I'm doing at this point because I haven't built any major apps or anything with it. But yeah, they finally upgraded it. So good for you, Kotlin Playground. Way to go. Before I finish the video, can't forget to do my shout outs. If you like these two acrylic pieces of beautiful art that I have up on the wall here, then hit up Late Bloomer. They do great work. A lot of really great acrylic paintings. I'll include their information below. If you like this painting right here, I got it from Sucker Free Art. I'll include their social media below as well. They should have some new stuff coming out eventually, but you can hit them up and learn more about what they have in their catalog. If you like art like this or like that painting right there, then thank you. I made them myself. I'm liking using the Kotlin Playground, but I don't know. I want to start doing things locally, man. That's how you're supposed to do. That's how I would prefer to work in software development. I want to actually have my tools on my computer. So I think it's time I set up the Kotlin interpreter locally on my own machine. It might take a little bit of time, but I think it's worth it, and it'll be a fun process. Matter of fact, I might even live stream it sometime next week, probably next week I might do it. If you follow me on my social media links in the description, then I'll let you guys know when I'm going to go about it, and then you guys can watch me struggle to set all that up. But that's what being a software developer is about. It's not the Matrix. It's not insert sci-fi movie here. It's about actually sitting down, and sometimes you gotta mess with stuff and it doesn't really work out, so you have to go back and right. But yeah, again, like I say this every time, I'm enjoying Kotlin. I am having fun learning it. It's very simple, no huge complex data types to remember or anything like that. Although now that I have learned about setting up a function header and how it differs from other languages, and versus like comparing that to assigning variables and just using the val keyword, I do see some value in learning another language before Kotlin, because now I don't have to worry about learning new data types or anything like that. I have already done that before coming into Kotlin. I just have to learn the syntax for like the specific ones for this language, but all that will come in time. So far I really feel like Kotlin is a language for people who've already done some programming before, just because, or rather, it's easier to learn if you've done some programming before. Kotlin is a lot of fun. I feel like newbies can jump in on it easily, but if you have some experience under your belt, it's gonna be a lot smoother. Now, you might think that that's true with most every language, but I feel like it extends to Kotlin specifically because of how simple the language is. So, there's not as much of a barrier to entry. So if you've already done some of the bigger stuff, then it shouldn't be any problem. But hey, if you're new, then Kotlin should be fine for you too. It's fine for everyone. It doesn't matter what your skill level is. I'm just giving my 2 cents based on my experience. But that about wraps everything up. So thanks everyone again for tuning in. Don't forget to, if you like content like this, then like, comment, and share, subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or anything below, ways I can improve, things you like, things you didn't like, let me know in the comments below, and turn on notifications to see when I upload new videos each week. But if you want to know when I do it for anybody else, join the mailing list on codingfanatic.com. Just go to the website, click on or input your information on the right hand side, and hit join, and there you go. Now you'll go straight to your inbox. And yeah, that's everything. So thank you all again so much for tuning in. This is your host Richard signing out, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.